and it was in regards to the MacKenzie Weegar extension. And I know Noah, if anybody follows Noah on Twitter, we know damn well how excited this man is for the all right, that's great, but let's announce the Weegar extension. And I know you speak for a lot of Flames fans. Robert, I'll let you carry this one because it was kind of your idea. But let's talk about that hit.
Yeah, so Elliot Friedman, he released a 32 Thoughts podcast this morning, and he had a little, actually, a couple of Calgary Flames nuggets on there. But the first one that I kind of wanted to dive into just quickly here is just he mentioned that he doesn't think that MacKenzie Weegar is going to want to negotiate a contract during the season. So essentially, the Flames, Brad Treliving, his agent, they have until I believe it was October 13th to get a deal done. And I was just thinking about today, and I think it would be a terrible idea to go into the season without MacKenzie Weegar signed to a long-term deal for a couple of reasons. So, one, I mean, we all know what happened with Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, that's a real possibility.
Who?
Yeah,
Who?
that guy sucks. It's okay.
I never heard of that guy before.
So I mean, like that's a real possibility. I mean, he could play out the year in Calgary and potentially want to go somewhere else. So there's that. But then also the second reason is I think MacKenzie Weegar's in line to have a big career season. Because, I mean, you look at last season, 11 players, 11 skaters had a career year under Daryl Sutter. He's, right now he's in training camp. He's playing on a defense pairing with Chris Tanev. That could be literally a top three defense pairing in the NHL. Like, it's that good. And he could even potentially get a career high in points if they put him on the first power play unit. The last couple seasons, he's got Norris votes. He's finished 8th in 2021 and 14th in 2022 in Norris votes. And there are also reports, too, that he could have potentially been on Team Canada if they went to the Olympics last year. So he's a really good defenseman. And if they don't get this contract done now, it could become very expensive next summer, or he could potentially leave. Because the rumor is 8 years, around $6.57 million. You have to get that deal done now. You can't not sign him. So and then another thing too is the cap's going to be going up significantly in 2 or 3 years here. So his contract won't look that bad in the later years. So
that's the thing too about, and not to cut you off, but that's the thing about, everybody talks about these contracts, these big dollar contracts now, and it's going to bite you in the ass in the future and blah, blah. Like, people don't remember that the salary cap is expected to go. Like, that's why we're getting these fun little jersey advertisements and all this, other stuff that, people are selling to companies to display their ads and all that stuff. Right.
Totally.
And not only that, new TV deals, stuff like that, that's all going to kick in and we're going to get a salary cap increase. So yeah, maybe it's, and yeah, even at that dollar, I wouldn't say it's a tough pill to swallow right now. It's not, it's a bargain deal. Like, you sign that contract right now. But it's going to look even sweeter in the future.
Yeah. Cause he might be like a legit top 20 defenseman in the NHL. And those guys make a lot of money. I mean, look at what Darnell Nurse just signed for $9.5 million a year.
Is that guy even a top 20 defenseman in the NHL?
No, definitely
not. Close.
So if we could get MacKenzie Weegar around that 7 million mark, I think that'd be a home run. So Brad Treliving, I know you're listening to this podcast, big shot down a Flames fan. Get the job done. Get that contract signed before the start of the season. So that's kind of my little Weegar rant to start here.
Yeah, no, that's perfect and right on the money and everything that I think. Noah, what do you think? Do you agree with everything Robert said so far?
We've been down this road before. I mean, going back to the Johnny Gaudreau stuff. So I'm in complete agreement. Like, you have to get this thing done before the season starts, because there's no way he's going to negotiate in season, and he's not going to negotiate till July 1st. And I think Rick Dwally was talking about this with Bo Harvat as well, is that players will not negotiate contracts until July 1st. That is a 100% truth when it comes to free agents. So you have to get this thing done now before October 13th. And I mean it 100% with all the confidence in the world. You have to get this thing done.
I feel like the only time players ever really like negotiate contracts during the regular season is if they're in a contract year and they're just playing like dog shit. They're like, all right, you know what? Maybe we can re-talk about, like, we can revisit the contract talks when people are like, maybe I should think about the future here. But yeah, I agree, boys. Like, it's do or die time. And the thing that keeps me optimistic about it is just the reporting that we've seen from guys like Pat and other guys in the media who are saying, look, this thing's close. And with how optimistic Pat Steinberg is on his show and on Twitter and all that stuff, like, I think that there's something there, and I don't think he's just spewing that information just to hear himself talk. Like, he's got to know that there's an offer on the table, or they're close. And people need to remember too, these things take time. Like, it's not always about the dollar, right? Bonuses, structure. Like, they could have a deal done and they're just working out, what he makes in year 7, right?
Mhm.
Like, people don't realize that. But anyway, we're looking forward to that.
And I want to just mention this as well, because I think the last report that was out there is that they're apparently like $2 million off, I think, from a deal.
Right.
Oh, wow.
That's something that I saw somewhere.